Rumors, hot boards, flight trackers. It is coach search season, baby. In and around West Virginia Mountaineer football, fans are getting anxious. And in this episode, which is brought to you by BetUS Online Sportsbook and Couz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner Attorneys at Law, we're going to talk about a couple of names that might be dark horse candidates for the job that are not being talked about near as much as some of the others. I'm also going to talk to you about the likelihood or unlikelihood that Rich Rodriguez comes to West Virginia to be the coach. We're going to have that conversation and talk about all of that right after this. Since 1931, the attorneys at Couz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner have been the voice for victims who have suffered serious injury or death. They have a fierce passion for truth and justice and a sincere compassion for those who have been wronged by others. Whether you have been in a car accident or fighting with an insurance company, or you or a loved one has suffered serious injury or death due to medical negligence, we will ensure your voice is heard loud and clear. Couz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner will ensure there is justice for all West Virginians because we are your lawyer, your voice. Visit us at yourlawyeryourvoice.com. What is up? Welcome into another episode of Couz's Corner. I'm your host, Couz. Come in, bell yourself up to the bar, make yourself comfortable, and allow me to pour you out a shot of top-shelf college football news and analysis. On tap in this episode today, we're talking about the coaching search at West Virginia. Right now, the two top names we're all hearing are Rich Rodriguez, the former West Virginia coach who's now at Jacksonville State, and Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator at Penn State, former offensive coordinator at Kansas. Those seem to be the two hottest names right now, the ones that we're hearing the most in the rumor mill, the ones that are popping up on pretty much every coaching list you see. Those two guys are on it. Now, there's a huge, I don't want to say huge, there's a portion of the fan base that myself is included in who want Rich Rod to be the coach at West Virginia again. Okay? I think we might be the minority, but we have been an extremely loud minority. We want Rich Rod back. A lot of us have been pounding the table about it, right? Bring him back or else. At least that's how it seems. And I think that might be a mistake. I think we need to trust Wren Baker to go out and do his job and get his guy. Now, there have been some rumblings, some rumors out there, some speculation that some of the big-name boosters are pressuring Wren to hire Rich Rod back. We all know Rich Rod's tied in with a lot of the big boosters, Ken Kendrick and others. They've never stopped supporting Rich Rodriguez. And they want him back at the helm at West Virginia. Speculation is some of them are pressuring Wren to make the hire, whether it be threatening to pull funding or adding funding to the program if they hire him, whatever it may be. I've heard both. Not sure if either one's true, but again, it's all in the rumor mill right now. I'm here to say we need to let Wren Baker do his job. Almost everybody, a majority of the fan base has talked about how great of an AD he's been. We've trusted him. He's made hire after hire after hire that so far have all been home runs. Now, I know it's not been in football. The sport that carries the most weight brings in the most money. He has yet to hire a coach in football. Matter of fact, I think he's only made one or two in his entire career. So he's less experienced in hiring football coaches. But that doesn't mean that boosters know more about how to hire a coach than Wren Baker does. He's not doing this in a vacuum. He's not alone. He has people he's consulting with, people probably like Nick Saban. He has a search firm that's helping him. He knows people throughout the entire industry. He has connections with coaches, with other ADs, with all kinds of people, former players. He has connections throughout the industry. He can get good feedback on all these candidates. He's a very analytical guy, very detailed guy. He's going to do his due diligence on these candidates. Let him do his job. We need to stop. Now, I know he's not listening to us on social media anyway, more than likely. But let's relax. We're setting ourselves up for failure and disappointment. And I also don't want it to bleed over into the program. If he hires somebody that a lot of us don't like or approve of, we don't need to put the new coach. We don't need to have the new coach starting off on the wrong foot with the fan base because we need to give the guy a chance, whoever it is. We were all happy that he made the move. Most of us were happy that he made the move to fire Brown and bring his own guy in, and now we're trying to tell him who to bring in. Relax. Let him do his job. Let him cook. Now, if he hires somebody and they come in and they're not very successful, then we can criticize it. Absolutely. But he hasn't even hired anybody yet. Give him time. He and Rich Rod might not be a good fit to work together. There could be other things preventing him from hiring Rich Rod. Whatever it is, let him do his job. And as a matter of fact, the pressure from the donors, if it's true, it might even run Wren off and cause him to leave. There's an open job right now at TCU in our conference that would put Wren Baker closer to where he grew up in Oklahoma. He could potentially take it tomorrow if the donors don't let him do his job. And long term, I think it's more important to let Wren do his job and set this program up, not only the program, but the athletic department up for future success, than bringing in Rich Rodriguez. He ain't the only coach who can coach at West Virginia, folks. I got news for you. There are other good football coaches out there. Let him find the guy. Let him find the right one. We don't know more about hiring a football coach than Wren Baker does. I don't. You don't. More than likely you don't. I don't know. You might. I don't know. But I don't. And most fans don't. And most boosters are just fans with a crap load of money. Am I right? They're not going to know any more about it than Wren does. Yes, they should have a say. They should be consulted, but they don't need to be pressuring him and telling him who to hire, in my opinion. Let him do his job. Let him cook. We don't need to run him off. We're going into this era of revenue sharing where NIL is still a big deal. He's the guy for that job. He's proven it. He's come up with all these different ideas, I think, from what I understand, to raise money. He's talked about adding more suites. He says we're going to be in almost full at the revenue share number. I'm not sure we'd be there without Wren Baker, folks. So let him do his job. We don't want to run him off right now. It'd be a terrible time to have to bring in a new AD that may not know how to manage this landscape. We know Wren does. So we need him to stay here at least for the next few years till we transition into this new period. All right, now let's get on to the point of the show where I talk about two coaching candidates that are not nearly high on the list as and have not been mentioned near as much as Rich Rod or Andy Kotelnicki. Now, two of the candidates that have been mentioned a lot, Barry Odom and John Summerall, both of those took their name off the candidate list. Barry Odom took the job at Purdue over the weekend, and John Summerall just late Sunday night announced on social media that he had let Tulane know he was not pursuing any other jobs at this time. So there's two candidates off the board right there. We've heard I think it's been pretty much common knowledge the last few days, or at least in some circles, that Jimbo Fisher seems to be no longer a candidate as well. He seems to be taken off the list as well. So a lot of people think it's come down to Rich Rod and Andy Kotelnicki, but I'm not sure that's the case. I think there are a couple other coaches out there who still could be in the running for this job that not as many people are talking about. I've seen these names on some national lists like at The Athletic and others. Skylar Callahan over at SI has written about these two guys. I'll leave links to some of these articles in the description box. You can go read them for yourself. Mike Ostie has done an article on this first guy that I'm going to talk about. Speaking of the first guy, he coaches at Army, and it's Jeff Monken. But Army is actually getting ready to play Navy in the big Army-Navy game that occurs every year, one of the biggest games of the year in college football. All Americans come together to watch or most college football fans come together to watch this game one Saturday a year. If you want to place a bet on that game, you can do so over at BetUS Online, one of my sponsors here. Army is -7 in the game. I like those odds. I think Army wins the game, and I think they cover. So I'm going to go ahead and place a $10 bet on the game. Place my bet, confirm my bet, and I'm in. So if you want to place that bet or any other bet for this weekend, please do so with our friends over at BetUS Online. Right now, they have a special going. Your very first deposit, you get a 150% sign-up bonus with promo code YouTube150. Again, it's promo code YouTube, YOUTUBE 150 at checkout for a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. You also get a 125% bonus on your next two deposits, up to a total of $2,000. Make sure that if you do play, that you do so responsibly, and remember that you must be 18 years of age or older to gamble. Now, let's get back to the show, and let's talk about the first name I want to talk about, and that's Army coach Jeff Monken. Again, Mike Ostie wrote a good piece on this over at WV Sports now.com and also at Yardbarker. But Jeff Monken is a coach that seems to me like he would fit the MO of a Wren Baker hire. He has proven himself at the lower level. He has shown he can win at the lower level. He's had a lot of success at multiple stops, and he has a lot of experience. He's 57 years old. He's been a head coach for many years. He spent his last 11 years at Army, the team I just mentioned. This year, they won the American Conference Championship over Tulane, who John Summerall coaches, ironically. They finished 11-1 on the year, their only loss being to Notre Dame, who's making it to the college football playoff, and they finished 8-0 in the American Conference. He also had 2 9-win seasons in Army in 2020 and 2021, respectively. His overall record is 81-56 there, which is about right out of 70% winning percentage. If you can win an Army, folks, you can win it just about anywhere. Remember, he has to recruit guys that have to join the military and commit for 9 years. 9 years. So they don't have NIL in Army or any of that, and he still goes out and recruits guys and wins. Now, the one question mark I have with Jeff Monken is he runs the triple option or flex bone or wishbone, whatever it is. He runs that I call a speed option offense. Now, based on what I've read about Monken, most coaches will not hire him, or it's a concern for most coaches, and it may prevent him from getting a Power 4 job because Power 4 coaches do not want that offense at their school. I agree with that. I personally think a triple option offense is a little boring. I think I called it a speed option earlier. It's more like a triple option, but I personally find it a little bit boring, to be honest. I like teams who throw the football. I'm not saying you have to throw it all the time. You don't have to be, like a Mike Leach team, but I like throwing the football. I think it adds excitement to the game. But I do like the fact he's had success. I like the fact he's a proven winner and he's shown he can recruit. He's going to build tough guys. We know that because of his experience at a military academy. He's going to be a hard-nosed, hard-edge coach. Sorry for no pun intended on the hard edge there, but I've got that term imprinted in my brain now. But I do think he can win at the next level, but he's going to have to do it without the option offense. If he can prove to coaches or to ADs interviewing him that he can win and has a plan in place to win without that, I think he can be successful in getting a job. Now, his success before Army, he was at Georgia Southern for a few years where he finished with a record of 38-16 in a conference championship. His overall record as a head coach is 119-72, and he's 4-1 in bowl games. Coincidentally, the one loss was to West Virginia in the Liberty Bowl back in 2020. So he's been good in bowl games. He has been an assistant before he got into head coaching. He was an assistant on the staffs at Arizona State, Buffalo, Georgia Tech, Hawaii, and Navy. And he's also coached at the high school level. Now, again, I do have my questions about Jeff Monken, but don't be surprised if you see somebody like Jeff Monken appear as the coach. Now, the other coach I want to talk about is Jamey Chadwell. Not seeing his name pop up as much, but again, he's on the SI list, and he's on some other lists as well, the national list, some of the national lists I've seen. But Jamey Chadwell is currently the coach at Liberty. He just finished off, I think they finished off an 8-4, or a 9-3 season there. They finished the regular season undefeated a year ago, lost to Oregon in a New Year's Six bowl game. His overall record at Liberty is 21-4. Before that, he coached at Coastal Carolina, where he coached Coastal Carolina to 2 11-win seasons in back-to-back years in 2020 and 2021. And his overall head coaching record is 86-60. Now, again, Chadwell runs a very exciting style of offense. It also a lot of option concepts, but he throws the ball a little bit more than what somebody like Jeff Monken is going to. So I think it would be a little bit more exciting to run, but still they're going to run the ball a ton. But my question about Chadwell is, I'm not sure West Virginia can afford Jamey Chadwell. He's already making $4 million a year at Liberty. That's right. Liberty's paying him $4 million a year. A Conference USA school is paying their coach $4 million a year. Liberty is not hurting for money. They're a very wealthy private school run basically by the Southern Baptist Church. The Falwells, we all know the history of Liberty, right? A lot of money there. And I've not heard any rumblings or anything about Jamey Chadwell being unhappy at Liberty. He's making a good salary. So unless he gets an opportunity probably to go to an SEC or Big Ten school or go somewhere where he can, make a lot more money, I don't see him leaving Liberty. But, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I would not count him out totally, because I do think he's probably going to be high on any head coaching search going on right now in the Power Four, especially at a program like West Virginia, who's not in what they call the P2, the Big Ten, or the SEC. So keep your eyes open for Jamey Chadwell and or Jeff Monken to potentially be the guys. If they don't go, if Rich Rod doesn't get the job back, which I don't think he's going to, because I think Wren's going to hire his guy. If it's not Andy Kotelnicki, it could be one of those two guys. And heck, it could even be somebody I haven't mentioned. It could be somebody totally off the radar that Wren goes out and finds. Who knows? We'll see. But let me know what you think about either Jeff Monken or Jamey Chadwell as potential coaches for the Mountaineers. I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to my paid VIP channel members here on the channel. The shout outs for this episode are CEO of the Sofa. What a great name. Brand new channel member here. Thank you for your support. Also, shout out to Outlaw of College Football, who's a longtime member. Also has his own YouTube channel. Shout out to Luke Bart. Shout out to Cody Cutright and Brad Cheney, all longtime members of the channel. Thank you all for your support and for helping me keep the lights on here. Also want to give another shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner Attorneys at Law. Thank them for helping me as well. Don't forget to like the video if you thought it was worthy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you think my channel is worthy. And don't forget to let your family and friends know about this channel and also my basketball channel, Hoops from the Hills, where I cover Mountaineer basketball, and I will be all season long. Come check me out over there as well. I appreciate you tuning into this episode. Check the one out on the top corner of your screen now, where I'll talk about some other possible coaching candidates at West Virginia. Some are already taken off the board, but you still might find the video entertaining and informative. So check it out. Hope the rest of your day is top shelf and Q Country Roads.